You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday.
All right, here we are. Another beautiful. Look at that music. We're still trying to get this thing figured out. Don't worry. We'll get it. We'll get it. We got the cool music going. If you're not awake yet, you are now. Welcome to Mindset Monday. I'm your host, Garrett Bake, founder of the American Contractor Network and the Build Pro System. We are here in conjunction with your friends over at Contractor Plus. Of course, he's my friend too, but I guess I can share. It's another beautiful Monday though, right? It's interesting. This morning, I've already received, I'm going to call it about at least 20 messages. Some of them from clients, some of them from friends. Well, do you want to know what the majority of them were complaining about? They were complaining about the fact that today's Monday. Right? Now, this is Mindset Monday. And do we talk about mindset all the time? Yes. We also give you tools and strategies you can implement. But I just want you to think about this for a minute, right? If you're complaining about Monday, what is that going to do for the rest of your week? It ain't going to make it pretty. I'll tell you that much. Well, you guys know the drill. If you're here live, go ahead and drop your name and your business name in the chat. We'll give you the good old Mindset Monday shout out. Oh, Daniel. Daniel's here first. Congratulations, my friend. I'm going to guess you're in the mobile office. No, maybe not. Daniel Kaplan with Noble Custom Glass and Mirror from Buford, Georgia. Says he's finalizing some estimates, taking care of some prep work. Welcome to the show. We got Matt Beckel with Beckel Electric out of Chicago, Chi-Town. Welcome to the show. Stacy Owen with Great Solutions out of Spanish Fork, Utah. I was just at her shop this last week. It's a beautiful little spot. Great views. We've got Joseph with MJ Plumbing out of the Salt Lake area. Welcome, Joseph, to the show as well. By the way, I heard your fishing expedition didn't go so well this weekend. Man, I'm telling you, Ryan's bad luck. We've got Sarah. We got Sarah who signed in, but we got Dan with DSB Remodeling, or remodeling it out of California. Welcome to the show. So today, if you guys read the email, which I hope you did, we spent a little bit of time putting that together for you. Today, if you read the email, you probably saw that we were talking about cash flow, right? We were talking about cash. We were talking about money. And there's an interesting thing that happens inside a business, right? And it's when you realize that business is less about making money and more about keeping it. I want to write that one down. Business is less about making money and more about keeping it. So we got a couple more people here. We got Abigail with Galaxy Tops out of Ogden, Utah. Welcome to the show. Randy with Protect Improvements from Glendale, Maryland. Welcome. And Sarah reminding us that that's her husband. I kind of figured, didn't want to go out on a limb though. So when we talk about cash, right, we're talking about the fact that when you run a business, the most important thing, yes, you need to market. Yes, you need to sell. And yes, you need to get work done. But what's the purpose of the three of those if you're not getting paid? Seriously, what's the purpose of them, right? The purpose of you starting a business or you running a business is to have money to live the lifestyle you want to live or have the freedom you want to live. We got Justin with All Works, handyman. Welcome to the show. So we want to have money to be able to get things done, right? Whether that's travel, whether that's, buy things, whether that's pay off things, like whatever the thing is, right? We need money to make that work. So why is it that so many contractors struggle when it comes to money? Well, there's a couple reasons, some of which you may or not be aware of. But I want to give you a couple stats before we get rolling, okay? Here's stat number one. 82%, 82% of small businesses, this includes contractors, right? But it includes all small businesses, 82% fail within the first 5 years because of cash flow problems. Think about that for a minute. Now, is marketing part of that? Sure. Sales, yes. Do they do good work or not? I don't know, maybe. But 84% fail because of cash flow problems, right? Now, I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you to be aware of things, okay? 22% of U.S. small business owners struggle to cover basic bills. And even worse, this is the worst part for me, 45% of contractors forego their own pay to make sure that everything else gets paid. Employees, rent, vehicles, insurance, all that stuff, right? Think about that for a minute. Am I describing you? Am I describing you in the past? Am I describing you that might happen in the future if we don't take care of this, right? Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. I don't care what level you're at. Cash flow is king, right? Profit is vanity, or I should say revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. End of the day, the only thing that matters is what's left over in your bank account. So if that's the case, why aren't we structuring things to make sure that it's happening that way? Why? Right? Now, we get a little sidetracked, and I get it, right? We get a little sidetracked sometimes. We get distracted. We get distracted by, I got to finish those estimates. We get distracted by, I got to finish those jobs. We get distracted by, hey, I gotta hire that guy, or I got to discipline that guy. We get distracted by everything that comes with running a business. And sometimes we forget about what it all comes down to. Okay. Now, I've talked to quite a few contractors over the last 6 months, and the majority of them, in some way, shape, or form, have struggled with cash flow issues in the last year or year and a half, or are currently struggling with it. So the first thing that I want you guys to understand is it's not a bad thing that you're struggling with cash flow. We got Will Ferris with Any Service Mechanical out of Oklahoma. Welcome. It's not something that just affects you, okay? This affects the industry. I literally just showed you the numbers, or talked about the numbers. 82%, right? 82% fail. 45% of you struggle because of cash flow, and therefore you don't pay yourself, right? Literally right now. Ready? Right now. We're running a project, and because the GC hasn't paid us, there was a billing issue, then our subs haven't been paid. And guess who's feeling it, right? We're not feeling it because we're set up a little differently, right? But our subs are feeling it. And so what are they saying? Hey, when's this coming through? When's the payment coming through? Are we getting paid, right? Which I totally understand and get, right? So understand you're going to be struggling with cash flow issues if you don't have these foundational pieces in play, okay? So number one, and the most important thing that I want you to understand is if you don't set yourself up for success at the beginning, you will fail. You will fail, right? It's like deciding you're going to go swim in the ocean. I didn't say in the swimming pool, and I didn't say at the beach. I said in the ocean, and not putting a life vest on. Like eventually you're going to get tired. For some people like me, it'll be in the first minute. Some of you guys can last a while, but eventually you're going to get tired. And then what? What are you going to do, right? So if you know you're going to go swimming in a place where you're going to be out there for a while, you probably want a life vest. Okay. It's the same thing with running your contracting business. So the most important thing you have to understand is profit doesn't pay the bills. Cash does. Let me repeat that. Profit doesn't pay the bills. Cash does. Okay. So there's a difference between profit and cash flow. Okay. So we want to make sure that we constantly have money coming in the door. Now, if you're starting out, this probably means you shouldn't take on larger projects. You shouldn't take on projects that are going to take you multiple weeks or even multiple months. Why? Because it takes time. If you're in the commercial space, you're lucky to be paid in 60 days. Why? Because you get 30 days of work, and then you got to turn in your invoice. And then it's 30 to 45 days before you get paid from the GC or the owner, right? So now you're looking at 60 plus days. Can you handle 60 plus days without getting paid? If the answer is no, don't do any of those jobs, period. Don't do it. Okay. You're going to have cash flow issues. I'm already telling you what's going to happen. Even if on paper, you're going to be profitable, you're going to have cash flow problems. Okay. So stick to the smaller jobs. If you're already at those larger jobs, we're going to talk about some different things that you can do here in a minute. All right. The most important things when it comes to your money. By the way, if you haven't figured it out yet, we have a workshop coming up on Thursday. It's called Pricing for Profit. I'll drop the link down below so you guys can register for it. If you're a member of our Build Pro community, it's free. If not, it's $97. But if you want to learn how to run your business and make sure that you don't run out of cash, you want to attend. Now, you have to know your numbers. Okay. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Right? Understand when it comes to money, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So your job is to make sure that you know your numbers, right? What are the 3 most important numbers? Number 1, cash on hand. How much money do we actually have in the bank account? Not money that you're going to pay out, right? Or money that's owed somebody else. Like, how much money do we actually have in the bank account? Some of you guys are super excited. You get paid on Friday, and by Monday, your bank account's empty again. Okay. Cash on hand, number 1. Number 2, accounts receivable, AR, whatever you want to call it. It's what's owed to you. Who owes me money right now? I've worked with people that don't send me an invoice for 30 or 45 days. I'm like, well, do you want to get paid or not? Apparently you got so many jobs and so much money, you don't want to get paid. That's your fault, not mine, right? So know how much you're owed. Third one, also very important, know how much you owe, right? Now, we don't have time to get super deep in this, so I am going to push Thursday, right? But understand that you're going to owe for taxes. You're going to owe for your insurance, whether that's workman comp or general liability, whatever it is. You're going to owe for a payroll. You're going to owe for vehicle expenses, for rent. Like, you're going to owe. So if you don't know how much money needs to go out every month, then you don't know how much you need to bring in. Problem. Okay. If you don't know how much you're owed, you don't know how much you can collect. Problem. If you don't know how long it's going to take you to get paid, you're going to have all kinds of problems. Okay. You can see where we're going with this. The next thing, you need to learn to get paid faster. How do we get paid faster? Well, I kind of talked about this earlier. Okay. Number 1, easiest way to get paid faster. Take jobs that are smaller and you get done with quicker. Why? Because you'll get paid faster, right? Now, if you're just starting out, I get it. It's really attractive to want to take on a $100,000 or a $200,000 job. I get it. It's really attractive. The problem with those larger jobs is they take longer to pay, right? The problem with those larger jobs is you are going to have the cash reserves up front to cover the expenses that you're going to have that we talked about before, right? And even if you're a one-man band, guess what? You still got expenses, right? So stick to the smaller jobs that you can get paid for more quickly. If you're a trade business owner, you're a sub, find the GCs that will pay you what it is that you want to get paid when you need to get paid. What does that mean? Well, number 1, you need inside of your contract a payment schedule. And the payment schedule needs to say, I need 40% up front, 30% when roughing's done, and 30% when we're done. Or 50% up front, 50% when we're done. Whatever it is that works for you, you need that money up front. If not, guess what? You're going to be chasing money and then you're out, right? I'd rather be at 0 waiting for profit than at negative waiting for everything. Next thing, materials. If you work with the right GCs or the right business owners, and you're not in a position where you confront everything, what's wrong with asking them to pay for materials? Now, will you make a little less because you don't have the margin that you would, or the markup that you would have on materials? Sure. But at the end of the day, you don't owe that money either, right? So we're looking for ways that we can make cash quicker. Nothing else or something else, right? If you are going to buy materials, don't buy materials until that deposit is cleared. I get it. It might delay the project a little bit, but at the end of the day, do you want to be in that cash flow crunch? No, you don't. For those of you that use supply houses, which is probably most of you, they have price breaks. You may or may not know this based on volume. They may not even tell you about it, right? You need to figure out what those price breaks are so that you can negotiate those terms. Not only that, guess what? There's more than one supplier in your geographical area. So if you're buying lumber from ABC and you need to go to XYZ because they have better terms, then go to XYZ, right? You constantly shop just like you would for a car and just like you do on Amazon, right? This is what matters most. You're not the bank, so stop financing your clients' projects. Next area. This is super important for you to understand, okay? In order for you to have what we call breathing room and feel comfortable with your cash flow cycles, right? And cash flow cycle is when you're supposed to get paid versus when you do get paid, right? Cash out, cash in. In order to be comfortable, you need to start to build up 3 to 6 months worth of operating expenses in reserve. Now, what are operating expenses? That's what it costs you to run your business, right? Again, your employees, your buildings, your taxes, all that stuff, 3 to 6 months put away. You want to take that stress off your back, build up a cash reserve. Treat it like a bill that you pay every month. This is the easiest way to do it, right? So you got money going to taxes, you got money going to employees, you got money going to rent, and stroke a check for your cash reserves. Put it in a separate account so you don't touch it, but stroke a check for your cash reserves. What's that going to do for you? Well, guess what? Like most humans, we spend what's left over in the account. It's just what it is. So create a separate account. Some of you have a savings account. That's great. But you need a cash flow reserve account as well. Put it in there. Don't touch it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Now, if this is difficult for you, you don't have to start by putting thousands of dollars in there. Just put 1% of every job into that account until you hit a month, and then double it to 2%, and then maybe 3%, right? We're not trying to make you poor. We're trying to build up your cash reserve. So here's my question as I continue this on. How many of you guys have a cash reserve right now, right? And if you do, how much is that cash reserve? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 months? Is it a year? What do you guys have built up right now for your cash reserve? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Now, as I'm waiting for your comments, I'll tell you this. There's a contractor that we call him a mentor in our group. He'll probably do 18 million this year, right? 18 million, pretty good sized contractor. He says that he almost lost his shorts in 2007. You guys remember this. 2007, there's a lot of companies that struggled, right? And a lot of them closed their doors. He said, at that time, we didn't have a cash reserve. At that time, we didn't have anything in place to save us. He goes, the biggest advice I could give a new or newer company is build that cash reserve. Now, if you don't have time, right, to build that cash reserve quickly, it's okay. There's a couple of different options for you. I am not a bank, nor do I give financial advice. I'm just going to tell you what I've seen people do over the years, okay? The first one is get what's called a line of credit. What is a line of credit? That's access to capital, not that you will need it, but if you do need it, you have access to it, right? You can get a line of credit through a bank, through a credit union, or through hard money. Now, the terms vary, and depending on how long you've been in business, what your credit is, will depend on what you have access to, okay? Get a line of credit. Highly, highly recommend get a line of credit. Have that reserve cash on hand for the just in case, okay? It's better to need it or have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Trust me, I see people all the time that are in desperation mode and they end up getting some kind of cash reserve or, money lent to them, and the terms are horrible because they're desperate at that point. So don't do it when you're desperate. The second thing, if you got a house, get a HELOC. What is a HELOC? It's a home equity line of credit. Why do I recommend getting that? Well, the terms are more favorable, right? And you're more in control. And again, it's there if you need it. You can treat it like a checking account, right? At the end of the day, if you don't have the money that you need to run a business, what is going to happen to your business? You know, it's not going to be around, right? Now we've got one brave soul here, Stacy, who says she's got 1 month in reserve, which 1 month beats 0 months all day long, right? But again, if you have a large operation, how quickly is that 1 month going to evaporate, right? 3 to 6 months minimum. So here's my challenge for you guys today. Twofold. Number one, if you're struggling with cash flow, you need to figure out a way to not struggle with cash flow. And I know that sounds oversimplified. I get it. But you need to understand that cash flow problems are not someone else's problems. They're not the vendor's problems. They're not the GC's problems. They're not your sub's problems. They're your problems. Okay. So you need to learn to deal with it, right? Told you guys I would send you information on this. There you go. You guys can register. Some of you guys already have, but you guys can register for our cash flow workshop. We call it Pricing for Profit. It's this Thursday from 11 to 1 Mountain Standard Time. No, you don't have to be here in person. We are going to live stream it, but register for this. And trust me, you will get some tools and some tactics that you need from Jeremy, who's our in-house accounting and finance expert, showing you exactly what you need to do to, one, price your jobs the right way to make sure you're making money, but two, make sure that you have the money on hand for the just in case. I would love to say that things go exactly the way they're supposed to go every single time. They don't. I would love to say that people pay you on time every single time. They don't. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make sure that your business not only survives, but that it thrives. Last example, we're working a job. We were supposed to get paid on the 1st. They sent the money on the 1st. Our bank and Bill.com, which also functions as a bank, decided that they were going to hold the payment for not 1 day, not 5 days, 11 days. 11 days, right? It wasn't my fault. It wasn't the GC's fault. It was the bank, right? Now, luckily for us, we've got our cash reserve, so we're good to go, but our subs don't. Now, we have a paid when paid contract, so they get paid when we get paid. I would love to stroke them a check right now. Money's not in the account, right? What do you want me to do? I can't, right? I can't do it. So take responsibility for your cash flow. Know that it's yours, okay? Know that you shouldn't start a job if in your contract it says 50% down and you haven't gotten 50% down. Don't start the job. What is that going to do? It's going to put you in a cash flow crunch. Last example, maybe a little extreme, but it is an example nonetheless. A certain sub working, I got to be careful here, working on a large project for a company that is a family that is very well off, a certain baseball stadium, decided that they weren't going to pay the GC because of some extra expenses, and the GC decided that they weren't going to pay their subs. Now, the unfortunate part of this is that he was owed $800,000. Now, for pretty much everybody on this call, that would mean the end of your business. How do you survive that, right? Very, very, very difficult. And so he had to make some crazy sacrifices. He didn't have a line of credit in place, had to go get one last minute, right? He had to do all these things just for his business to survive, right? Again, it doesn't mean when you start making more money that you're going to have less problems. You just have bigger problems. So take this advice. Don't gamble with cash flow. Make sure that you have money to handle the ups and the downs of running a business. If not, you'll end up like 82% of most small businesses. Within 5 years, the doors have closed, not because they couldn't do good work, not because they weren't paid, but because of cash flow issues. All right, that's all I got for you guys. You know what time it is. It's time to take this information and put it to work. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.